What's up everyone, William H here. Thank you for clicking on my video, and today I want to share with you guys a time that I got bit by a dog. Now I know what you might be asking, like, William, how is it that you got bit? Aren't you always careful? And fact of the matter is, guys, I'm always careful, but this particular situation was very unique, and hopefully you guys learn from my mistakes, right? What's that saying? A smart man learns from his mistakes. A wise man learns from others' mistakes, right? So hopefully by me sharing with you guys this story, you guys learn from this dummy's mistakes, right? Now before I get into the story, guys, don't forget to subscribe, and like my video. And let's begin. So, you want to learn how to last longer in bed. Well guys, the trick is to I'm just playing, guys. Let's get into this story. So, let me tell you guys what happened, right? So, I remember it like it was yesterday. You know, it was just an average day, you know. I was just picking up a shift because I wanted some overtime, right? And this day was like every other day, right? I get my pouch, then I look what the day has to offer, right? So, it was nothing out of the ordinary, you know, just like 10 bags, you know, 180 stops. It was all residential. Like I only had like 2 apartment complexes to deliver to, and this happened. You know, this was like around 1 p.m. right? And I was like 50% done with my route, and then I had to deliver to my first apartment complex. Now, every apartment complex that I go to, I always go to the leasing office and I ask them. I'm like, hey, are you guys receiving packages? And that specific apartment complex does not receive packages just because it was COVID, right? The pandemic, whatever the case may be. I was like, all right, you know. So I just asked them for a map of the apartment complex, because this apartment complex, guys, was very like different, because every apartment building, you know, had a different address on it. So I needed a map, right? And then I was just scoping out where I was gonna stop at, right? And it was like a circle, right? And every building, it was like a section of apartments and then a section of apartments over there. And the front doors were facing outwards, and the parking spaces were in the center, right? And I had to go around the apartment complex, and then when I would get off, I would have to go all the way around the building because for some reason the front doors were facing outwards, right? It was one of those. And so what had happened was, guys, as I was walking towards my first stop at this apartment complex, I seen a lady, right? She was going on a stroll with her dog, and this lady, she was like a little light-skinned. She looked like in her early 30s, and she had her dog, right? She had him on a leash, and you know, they were just going for a walk. And then there was also a little girl there, and I believe that was her daughter. And so I seen them, right, and I was like hello, and then just walking past by them. But right as I was walking past by them, this lady, she was like, hey, is that for apartment number 6? You know, and I had an envelope with me, and I was like, yeah, you know, it is for apartment number 6. As I was looking at it, and she asked me, she's like, hey, well, you think I can receive it? And I was like, sure. What's the name on it, right? Because you have to verify. And yeah, she was like, my name is so and so, and I was like, okay, well, you know, it matches, right? I was looking at the envelope. As we were talking, guys, you know, I noticed that her dog kind of like rushed towards me, right? But she was able to catch him and pull him back with the leash. And that should have been my first clue, guys, but you know, at the moment it just happened so fast, and I was like, okay, well, you know, I had that in mind. And she was like, yeah, well, let me just take that from you. And then so I extended my hand, right, knowing that her dog wanted to get towards me. I didn't know if this dog wanted a pet from me, or I don't know what he wanted to do, but I just know that he wanted to get close to me, right? So I extended my hand to give her the envelope, and you know, she took 2 steps forward. She's like 1, 2, and she got the envelope, and she took her mind off the dog, right? And she was trying to open the package. And as I gave her the envelope, right, I was just slowly turning around, going back to my van, and then This dog saw its chance. He proceeded to bite me. So where this dog bit me was my left foot. And as I was turning around, all I felt was this, guys. All I felt was like a split second. It happened so fast. And I was like, wow, like, did this dog just bite me? And, you know, I just looked at the lady. She's like, oh my God, I am so sorry. This dog never bites anybody. He is so friendly. And I looked at her. I was like, well, he just bit me, so, you know. And she's like, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. And she didn't even say anything to the dog. She wasn't like, bad dog, or she didn't spank him or anything. And now that I think about it, guys, her daughter was there. You know, her daughter's probably traumatized knowing that her dog bites people. You know, she looked like around 5, 6 years old. And so I was walking around. I was like, you know what? I was like, it's okay, whatever. And as I was walking to my van, I noticed blood started dripping down my calf. And I was like, damn, I guess he did get me pretty good, right? So I got to the van and I noticed that the wound did not stop bleeding. It didn't stop bleeding, guys. And I was tripping, right? And I started to look for the first aid kit, but you know, like, this van, for some reason, it did not have a first aid kit. So I had to call it in, guys. Now, the only reason I called it in is because the wound did not stop bleeding. I was thinking to myself the worst, right? Maybe this dog, he got a vein or something. And, you know, I called it in. I was like, I told them the situation. And then they're like, damn, like, well, we'll send one of our supervisors to go assist you, right? And this supervisor, one of the coolest supervisor from the old DSP that I used to work for, his name is Remy. Remy, if you're watching this, bro, what's up? You know what happened, right? And so he got there and he gave me the first aid kit, right? And right away I started to disinfect my wound. And it didn't stop bleeding, guys. Could you believe it? It just did not stop bleeding. And I showed Remy, and he was like, damn, bro. Yeah, that looks pretty bad. I was like, shit. I was like, you think I should get it checked out? He's like, yeah, bro. If I was you, you know, I would. I was like, damn, I kind of don't want to leave you with the rest of my route. And he's like, yeah, but you know, it's better to be on the safe side, right? And I was like, yeah, you're right. So before I went to the urgent care, I had to go back to this lady's apartment because every dog owner is responsible for their dog's actions, right? And so me and Remy went together. We went knocked on her door. So she opened the door and she was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. She looked like she had just finished up crying, right? And then she just like, I'm so sorry. She's all wiping her tears off. I'm so sorry, my dog never bites anybody. I just grounded my dog right now. And I was like, no, it's okay. We just need your information, you know, from my employer. And, you know, she's like, yeah, for sure. And, you know, you just hear the dog barking in the background. And for some reason, she decided to tell us that she was going to move next month. She's like, you don't have to worry about my dog anymore because I'm moving out of state. And I was like, okay, well, nobody asked you, but all right. And so we got her information down, and after that, Remy picked up my shift, and then, you know, I went to the urgent care, and everything was alright, guys. They just prescribed me some antibiotics, and, you know, I was good. And why am I telling you guys this story? So, 2 things that I learned from this story, right? The first thing is that you should always be extra cautious when you're on the job, right? Especially if there's a dog around you, and that dog has no clue who you are or what your intentions are, you know. Be cautious, guys. Always be careful, especially if you see any sign of dogs, guys. Always be extra cautious and look around your surroundings, you know, for the dogs. Because a lot of dogs, I like to think a good majority of dogs are friendly, you know. But this dog, he had no signs whatsoever that he wanted to bite me, right? Like, he wasn't barking at me. He wasn't like wagging his tail, or he didn't even have his tail straight up, right? And I just thought it was crazy because thinking back now that, like, you know, the only sign that I saw was like he was trying to get towards me, right? He was trying to rush towards me. And that should have been my first sign, guys, but you live and you learn, right? And the second thing that I learned from this incident is that from a dog owner's perspective, you don't 100% know what your dog is going to do in every situation, right? I myself own a pair of pit bulls, and I'd like to think that, I personally know them. I would like to think that I know what they would do in every situation. But under the right circumstances, right, if they sense somebody's bad energy, or if they sense that they're getting threatened or their owner's getting threatened, they might attack somebody. And maybe this lady was telling you the truth. Maybe this dog never ever bit anybody, and for some reason this dog felt threatened and he decided to bite me, right? So, you know what I mean? Just be careful out there, guys, especially when you're on a job and you have to, deliver to houses that have dogs, Be really cautious, guys. One of the things that I do, right, especially if I get a country route, and I see that there's dogs barking at me, dogs that want to bite off my freaking Vans tire, right? This is what I do, guys. I just scan it and I just literally just drop it outside the window, If you know you're going to have packages, delivered to you that same day, lock your, put your dogs in the cages, put them on a leash or something, Because, worst case scenario, guys, you can call an animal shelter, tell them that you got bit by so-and-so's dog, and then, by law, you have to put them down, right? And I would hate for anybody to lose their dog to any certain situation, right? And yeah, guys, that about wraps it up for my story. Don't forget to subscribe and like. And I'm going to leave you with a closing message. You can do anything you put your mind to. Hope you guys have a blessed day. And I'll see you in the next one.